Okay, good evening, Deva Mitten.
Namaste, Swan. Good
Namaste.
to see
Good to
you.
see you. Really good to see you. Thank you for making this time. I know your schedule's pretty hectic, but it's really important, I think, and beautiful to have you on this World Consciousness Day event, the first one, but we plan to make an annual event. And we are going to be streaming out talks, interviews, dialogues, and music with all kinds of luminaries, thought leaders, and musicians around the world to revibrate the consciousness of the memorial of war into a consciousness of peace, love, how we can really become one world family, and how we can heal and unite the world with consciousness instead of through war. So sound, of course, plays an important part in the world in how we can revibrate ourselves, how it can heal literally at a cellular level as well as a soul level. And you guys are maybe the harbingers. You were the first people really who brought sacred sound to the world in such a big, powerful and beautiful way. So I'd love to hear from you about your experiences with working with sound over the decades and how it's been healing for you and all the people you've worked with and played to.
Yeah, sound it's like the ocean, isn't it? It's like what we swim in sound, basically. We are surrounded by sound from the minute we are born until we leave our bodies, if we can hear it or not. Even if we don't hear it, it still is a vibration that affects our bodies. And it's so powerful because we know that when we hear music, one piece can uplift us and give us joy, and another piece can bring us to tears. It's so immediate, and it's so beyond words and beyond description. It's like straight to the soul. The sound is there's no you can't even alter it. It is what it is. It comes in and it does what it does. So to actually consciously find sounds to make ourselves that are beneficial and healing is incredibly powerful. And we're so grateful that we found these sounds, that we know these sounds. When we make these sounds, we can actually heal our bodies. We can actually find peace. We can find a way to silence that is very actually quick. It's very powerful, and it's also very immediate. So these sounds are Sanskrit sounds that are like thousands and thousands of years old. Who knows exactly how old? And they were found by the ancient rishis, the seers in India that were meditating in the Himalayas or in India, and they were receiving these sounds in their meditation as something that was like a cosmic sound. And then they tried to recreate these sounds with the human voice, with the possibilities we have. And this is where mantra came out. This is the origin of mantra. So now we are recreating the sounds that the ancient rishis heard in their meditation. And the exploration has gone so deep that we know which sound has which effect. So there are mantras for, like I said, for finding peace. There are mantras for balancing male and female energy. There's a mantra for removing energy blocks or realizing that there's no duality. So that's what we've been so blessed with, that we can travel around. I think we've been traveling for 25 years. We feel like on the wings of these mantras, sharing them all over the world.
Yeah, and it became as if we're part of this tradition. We didn't really intend it to be that way, but it became so, it just lifted us up. And it all happened because Deva was reintroduced to the Gayatri Mantra when she was about 28. She'd been chanting the mantra all through her childhood. The Gayatri Mantra is like the most ancient and most powerful of all mantras. So she was somehow given this in her bones and her blood, when she was in the womb. And then when she was a kid, she was chanting it every night. So when she heard it again, something happened that we really discovered the power of sound, not just the power, but the healing power. Suddenly we were experiencing what we'd only known really as theory before. Although we experienced it in the ashram, we'd never really been able to share the essence of what we felt around our Guru Osho until Deva began chanting the Gayatri, and then everything began to heal for us, for the people that heard it. So we had that first-hand experience, and then it got scientific, like Deva said, even to the point that these rishis decided or discovered how many times you have to chant that mantra before it begins to open itself to you. It's 108 cycles. So, it became very scientific, because basically Deva and I are very emotional musicians. We don't technically, claim to be, maestros and anything. Deva has this beautiful voice that is absolutely pure in its expression. So when we do chant these mantras, and when Deva chants, we have that opportunity to let go into the magic of the mantra. So that's what's been happening all these years. It's just got more and more obvious that sound is a key into inner peace, which is really the key to everything. Because if we it's the cliche, but of course it's true. We have to begin with ourselves, and singing and chanting is like David said, it's a fast track into meditation, into connection to the divine. It's great, and because the mantras are so powerful, you can be singing "I love you, baby" and whatever, but with the mantras you have these energetic sound formulas that you actually have been given to you. So it's an amazing journey to see people. We've been doing it, like you said, for so long. And we've just seen many, many, many people, more and more people coming. And when we look out to our audiences, sometimes I say to David, we're not weird anymore.
I know that feeling.
We're all together. Here we are. Look,
yeah.
And it's so nice to feel that energy and that love and the chanting. That's really beautiful.
Yes. Well, of course, the first line of the Bible of Genesis was, and first there was the sound, the word. So it's the birth of our creation. As you said, like the ocean was the beginning of the world. And the other day when we were talking about birth and death, and your experiences, Deva, of birth and death with the Gayatri mantra, and how we can make death a much more conscious, peaceful experience too, which means as we reincarnate and we come back into our next lives, we then rebirth with a much more peaceful consciousness.
Yeah, I feel, right now, the friend that I call death my friend, feels very close, because my mom just left her body 3 months ago now. And like I say, I grew up with that term, leaves the body. Somebody leaves their body, which was really weird as a little kid, But I really appreciate that my father gave that to me so early on, that understanding, and I couldn't think of it any other way. That of course we leave this body behind, and the essence of our soul is eternal, is immortal, and I feel. I'm very blessed that I was able to be there for both of my parents' actual moment of passing, and to sing to them the mantras that they blessed me with when I was born, and when I was little baby, and when I was little child, and even before in the pregnancy. They gave that to me as a gift, and then I could, and we could return it to them on their deathbed, both of them. So I feel death is such an amazing mirror, forever for us. It's always available to us, that mirror. We have it always in our back pocket, and we can get it out and look and say, is this really how I want to spend the last day of my life? If this was the last day of my life, is this how I what do I do? What am I doing? It's a fantastic reality check. And I love being in bed at night and just asking myself, are you ready? Are you ready to leave the body? And do I find that yes? And do I find that gratitude, which is for me the biggest prayer is the gratitude, when we just say thank you. Like, wow, thank you.
That's what the mantras are. They're a way of saying thank you. They're all in their own way basic. They're songs of gratitude.
Yeah, often we can see the mantras as prayers, as if we're asking for something. But I liked, and often they're translated that way. Actually, when I see translations of mantras. But I like to turn it around and just say it as a wow, thank you, Lakshmi, goddess of abundance, for this, or thank you, Ganesh, Lord of obstacles,
Yes.
Remover of obstacles. Just just to always come back to the gratitude, and that's really I think that's maybe one of the biggest doorways into compassion is gratitude. And compassion is, it's
all like life and death to me, Deva. This whole thing, when you said about taking time off of a schedule, we have none. We really don't ever go on holiday. This is, it's just one big holiday. It's just one big amazing vacation, and to talk about the mantras, it's so difficult because in the concerts, everything that Deva was just describing is evident. It's like we're all self-reflected. We're a gathering of people who understand that concept. So we're open, and we come with that heartful place. And there's so many of us coming there just to open, and then it really becomes life and death. It's never entertainment for me, Dave. It's never a show. It's not that. It's not that. It looks like one because it's in a theater and everything, but the basic thing is, how do we get out of the way our ego, and how do we move out of that so that this stuff can come through, and we don't have to think about it anymore. As soon as Deva starts to sing, it's over. It's all ready and open to join.
This was about death.
Well, it's all about. Sorry, but in a way, it's all about
death and birth. Because it's a constant birthing too.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is a little death. It's like it's because you continually open to the new. We don't know where the mantras go. We don't have a set list. We don't know. Once you open that lamp and the genie flies out, it's life and death. You don't know where you're going to go, musically or whatever, but you follow, and that's where all the energy comes from. It's all in the moment. It's life and death. And that's what sound challenges. That's the challenge, Can you sing? Oh, no, I can't sing. I'll never sing, So, you take a step back. What we found is everyone can chant a mantra because it's only 2 notes. So you don't have to be, Pavarotti to experience life and death through sound, You can do it. Da-da-da-da-da-da. That's it,
Well, I must say, my children prefer me not to sing mantras out loud in the car.
That's the other thing, Swan. You actually can internalize the mantra. You don't have to even, actually make it audible. Once you start getting into it, you hold that sound all the time.
But it's something so powerful that to make the sound out loud, because it does vibrate the body in a very different way than when you use your voice, And that everyone can do that. It doesn't matter how good a singer you are with your voice, you will vibrate yourself and your body, and your energy will start to flow.
Well, that's right. And of course, you open the throat chakra as soon as you start to express that sound too, which is...
And it's so nice to do it together with other people, and I think that's why there's so much energy around kirtan and bhajan these days, that people like to come together and just sing and feel part of this big kind of
circle.
Yeah, like a celestial choir with no meaning, which is the other thing. It's like we all chant sounds that we basically don't understand. Most of us don't understand Sanskrit. And that's so direct as well, that we don't have any concepts around these sounds, or they're not words as such, So it's, again, that kind of very direct connection from the sound to the soul.
And it creates, as soon as the sound starts, it creates a spaciousness, doesn't it, in the mind, because there's nowhere for the mind to go except to be present with it.
Yeah, and the mind can go, but when it comes back, oh wow, I've been off, now I come back, the mantra is still there. It's the train is still moving, so you can slide off, because of course we do. And because it's a long process when you chant the mantra. So, you get other thoughts, but then when you realize you're thinking and you come back to the present moment and chant the mantra, you realize, wow, it's been going on without me, and that's the gift of the mantra, that you can slide off and come back. And, I think this is a good moment to say this, because one of our big things and our intentions is, can we to somehow encourage people to consider the possibility of a mantra practice and what that actually entails. So within that concept, because we have, like Dave was saying, there's so many mantras, there's so many different aspects of life. So we made this CD called Mantras for Life, and it has about 10 mantras that are chanted 108 cycles. Just simple. Just Deva chanting 108 cycles. And it's the design of the whole thing is that you can use the CD, you can pick your mantra, and you can put it in your CD player every night before you go to sleep. And you can chant the mantra with Deva, and you can say, I will do this for 21 days, and I will be a scientist. I'll see what happens if I just say to myself, okay, I'll just see what happens. It's a nice thing to do. And you find your mantra when, maybe my life feels blocked, or maybe you're with a lover, so let's chant the making love mantra every night for 21 days and see what that feels like. So that's how we started to share the mantras beyond the heart and the emotion, which is what our music opens. But the traditional way is really strong. It really has this power.
Yes. And the other thing that you do, which is so powerful, is the silence when you're in concert between mantras or songs, and that's so powerful. So you always say to people, don't clap, let's not have applause, because applause breaks up the energy, doesn't it?
I mean, basically we just take the pressure off. We just invite people not to clap, because actually you don't feel like clapping.
No.
You've just been chanting and you are in this experience together. There's anyway not the sense that somebody is sitting in the front who you should clap to. So we just say, look, we don't have to get into a habit here because we always do it. Let's just do what comes naturally, which is just to close our eyes and enjoy the energy that we've been building up. Otherwise it's wasted,
Yeah.
And it's incredible how many times I've sat with thousands of people where you hear really literally the proverbial pin drop. It's like suddenly nobody coughs anymore even. In the beginning of the concert you hear a cough here and there, shuffling, and suddenly everybody is just doesn't have the need to be restless in the body. And that's why we call it a shortcut to meditation, because really just through a few minutes or whatever of chanting, it's so easy to be silent. It just happens by itself.
Well, I work as a healer with people, or by Skype all over the world, and one of the things that I get is a lot of parents who are wanting to work with me for their children to be calmer and more centered and grounded. And the first thing I tell them is put them to bed every night with mantras, play Deva Mitten or whoever else, but play these sacred sounds to the child so that they're falling asleep with that vibration.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes such a difference, to the quality of sleep of the children, because of course it takes them home again.
Children very sensitive to it. Children very sensitive to the mantras.
Yes.
Even autistic kids, we've had messages from teachers of autistic kids saying, wow, they respond in a way we've never seen them respond. A couple of different teachers have written to us independently. And the other thing, is we take the mantras into prisons. So, that's a place where you can test out whether the mantras are real or not, or if they have power, because it's okay, we can feel that in a beautiful temple. But what about that prison, which is basically, in a way, it's a temple of forgiveness?
Yes.
Because that's what those people are doing in there. So, to bring the mantras into that space, it was a deep honor. It's very strong.
Beautiful. Well, it would be amazing in hospitals too.
Yeah, sure. Anywhere where people are faced with reality,
with
it's
stuff.
Reality anyway.
Well, it's back to life and death, really.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. Well, I spent a lot of my time being ill because I was given 3 months to live 14 years ago, and I just practiced a lot of self-healing. But I journeyed in and out of death, and one of the things that I did was, music was a vital key for that. The mantras to call myself back to this side of the veil again.
Wow.
Beautiful, yeah.
So
we're happy.
What?
I think we can both say we're happy that you came back.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
It's really nice to talk to you.
Thank you. Well, I told you, the first time I ever heard you sing the Gayatri Mantra, I was actually in Findhorn in Scotland. So I was pregnant or my son had been born, so we're talking 16, 17 years ago. And I cried. Something totally dissolved in me and went, oh, this is what I came to the planet for, this level of beauty. So you're going to sing something for us a cappella, aren't you?
Yeah, sure, we can chant.
Or we're going to chant.
This is a universal peace mantra.
Yes, and in the end, this has a lot of sounds, a lot of words that we'll sing as an invocation, as a prayer, and then in the end we come to Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, which means peace. Shanti means peace, and it comes 3 times, as in the inner peace, the peace between us, and then the universal peace. So we can tune into that. And Om, Om, we use it all the time. It's become like kind of like like the ocean we swim in. And our friend Shamdas, who's left his body now, he left us with such a great visual kind of image of Om. He called it the cosmic yes. So I just want to put that in there, you know, when we sing Om, that we just realize this cosmic.
Cosmic, yes.
Are we doing it 108 times?
Are we doing it 108 times? You're asking?
Yes.
I don't think so.
When you chant 108 times, I've watched you on stage. How do you count that?
I have a mala of beads in my hand.
So that's really multitasking, isn't it?
Yeah,
she's multitasking.
Because I sat there thinking, how do they get 108? Because I try and count as I go along with you, and I lose track.
No, don't do that. That's what malas are for.
But that's hard to do when you're playing and singing.
Yeah, I only play with one hand, and the other hand I have the one.
There's the trick. There's the trick. Okay, I'm going to sit back and enjoy this private concert.
Shamno Mitra Shambarana Shamno Bhavedvayamam Shamna Indru Brahaspati Shamno Vishnu Rukrama Namo Brahmane Namaste Vayu Tvamiva Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tvamiva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadasyami Ritam Vadasyami Satyam Vadasyami Tanma Mavatu Tatvaktara Mavatu Mavatu Mam Mavatu Vaktara Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Beautiful, thank you. So, if you had one message to send to the world on World Consciousness Day, what would that be from you two?
Keep singing.
Let it not only be a day, let it be your life.
Yes. Let's make every day World Consciousness Day. This is just the start.
Yes, and I mean, world is always this huge thing. I guess it's good to just start with, you know, inner peace, you know, just consciousness in your own little kind of universe, and let that radiate as it does, you know, just like with inner peace. If we all feel inner peace, we are in world peace. So
that's right.
So whatever brings you joy is what brings you peace, you know. Do more of that in your life, you know, just whatever it is. And often it's really easy, it's really available. Just have to remember to do it.
Yes.
But to make more space for it. It's so simple, huh? We all know it. So we just have to find ways to remind each other, remind ourselves, and start with steps that we can really do, you know, like, okay, I can sit 5 minutes a day in silence, you know, that's not too much of a commitment, but it's really a long time when we give ourselves 5 minutes. It's so nourishing, you know. Or I can sing 3 Oms in the morning, 3 times the mantra Om. That's easy, you know.
What we don't realize is those moments are the step. They're the first step, you know. But you have to take the first step, so make it easy. And give yourself a break and take it from there. And because it doesn't come cheap. It doesn't come cheap. It's a commitment to living.
Yes.
To life. So, you know, there has to be commitment along the road somewhere. But the first step, sing 3 Oms every morning. to chant a mantra of the Deva every night. Those things are great ways to begin your mantra journey.
It is. It's a full-on discipline and commitment, this journey, isn't it? I know the Dalai Lama still wakes up at 2 a.m. every morning to meditate for 3 or 4 hours every night.
Yeah.
Which probably means the rest of us should be doing it 24 hours a day, but keeping that...
Dalai Lama.
What? We lost you there.
We've frozen. And she's frozen, so she's...
Oh, no. Shall I?
Yeah.